How's it going, peeps? It is now time for the Raw results / highlights and review video. I'll go over the results, some of the highlights in my opinion, and give you guys my thoughts on the show. So it all kicks off with Vince McMahon coming out, and he talks about, or actually comes out with Brad Maddox. And he goes over what Brad Maddox said last week about Daniel Bryan, all the things he said, and that Brad Maddox actually said all those things. And then he tells Brad Maddox, but what do you actually feel about Daniel Bryan? But before Brad Maddox could say anything, Daniel Bryan comes out, and Vince McMahon tells Brad Maddox that he's got this. Anyways, to keep the promo short, or to sum this up in a short way, you had Vince McMahon, telling Daniel Bryan that he doesn't want him to be the new WWE champion. He also doesn't think he can beat John Cena. He doesn't think he can beat Kane tonight. Also, he says, does that mean that I want John Cena to win at SummerSlam? He says no, he actually doesn't want John Cena to win either. What he would like to see is for Vince to win. Daniel Bryan, Cena lock up at SummerSlam, and then combustion happens, whatever. And then Daniel Bryan tells Vince McMahon, I'll say this in your own words. It doesn't matter what you think, it matters what they think. And he's talking about, the crowd. The crowd starts chanting, yes, yes, yes. He asks the crowd, do you guys want to see a new WWE champion? The crowd starts chanting, yes, 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 and cheers. And that was it for the opening segment. The Shield then came out for a 6-man tag team match against Mark Henry and the Usos. The ending of the match came when one of the Usos tagged himself in. He got in, hit I believe he hit a crossbody on Dean Ambrose, then hit a super kick on Seth Rollins, and then hit a Samoan drop on Dean Ambrose, followed by the top rope body splash, but Dean Ambrose got his knees up, and then hit his finisher, and won the match for his team. And then after that, you had Ryback backstage, and there was two guys, random people, at catering, and then Ryback comes up to them, he starts taking some food, and then he starts intimidating one of them, or bullying one of them. And he takes some food, shoves it in his face, says, I'm gonna shove or put John Cena through that same table tonight. And then Ryback proceeds to put, the guy that he's intimidating through the table as well. Then you get a video package for the Wyatt Family, and then Brad Maddox is backstage. Kane approaches him, and he's looking for the Wyatt Family. Brad Maddox says he doesn't know where they are because they're not here. And then Kane leaves. And then Brad Maddox tells him, but, if you want to show them how vicious and ruthless you are, you can, show them that in your match tonight against your former friend or former partner, Daniel Bryan. Afterwards was RVD versus Fandango. In the end, you had Rob Van Dam going for the 5-star frog splash, but Fandango rolled out the ring and just got himself counted out, went to the stage, they announced Rob Van Dam as the winner, and then Fandango gets on a microphone and says, it's Fandango. Following that, you had a backstage segment with AJ and Big E Langston, and, she's supposed to be facing Kaitlyn, and then she says, she's gonna spear me again, and then she tells Big E, why do you always let her spear me? And she's like, it's because you like me. It's because you like what I do in the ring. Anyways, after that, they actually have the matchup, AJ versus Kaitlyn, and Kaitlyn ends up winning the match after a spear. Following that match, you have Dolph Ziggler coming out, making fun of Big E and AJ, congratulating AJ on a loss, and then he challenges Big E Langston to a matchup. They end up having the matchup, and towards the end, you had Big E Langston charging Dolph once again, and Dolph dodges, so Big E Langston falls outside, and that's when AJ came in the ring and attacked Dolph Ziggler, so causing the disqualification. And that angered Big E Langston, so Big E Langston actually yelled at AJ, and while he's doing that, Dolph goes back in the ring and takes out Big E Langston, while AJ stays in the ring, crying and, doing the usual, complaining or going crazy, I guess. Following that, you had another backstage segment. This time, John Cena was talking on the phone. Daniel Bryan comes up to him and asks him if what Vince McMahon said out there was true. And then John Cena tells him, are you actually believing Vince McMahon? And Daniel Bryan says, Vince McMahon, whether good or bad, he's always been honest with me. And then John Cena tells him, are you calling me a liar? And then they're quiet for a moment, and John Cena leaves. Following that, it was Christian versus Del Rio in a pretty good matchup. Christian ends up winning with a roll-up. The whole entire match, Del Rio was working on the arm, and Christian was selling that arm. And Del Rio went for the cross-arm breaker. Christian countered that into a roll-up and won the matchup. Anyways, after that, it was Cody versus Barrett. They showed some footage of SmackDown where Cody threw the Money in the Bank briefcase in the Gulf. Anyways, Cody wins with the Crossroads. After the match, Damien Sandow comes out, cuts a promo on Cody. Pretty much he runs down Cody, you know, makes fun of him and such. Or actually, you know, he says, yeah, shame on you for throwing the briefcase. And he says, you know, Cody comes from a family of clowns, and how about he send him back to the circus right now? So he's approaching the ring, but then he backs down. He's like, no, you know what? Clowns are beneath me, and that was it. Then it was time for Daniel Bryan versus Kane, and the end of the match came when Kane went for the chokeslam, but Daniel Bryan countered that into a roll-up, won the matchup. Following the match, Kane chokeslams Daniel Bryan. The Wyatt family come out, and Kane right away goes after them, gets outside the ring, starts going after them, but you know, the numbers game is too much, and they end up taking out Kane. And then Bray Wyatt cuts a promo. He says, you know, you call yourself the devil's favorite demon. Tells Kane, watch out what you say because you never know who's listening. Brie Bella then faced off against Natalya. And towards the end of the matchup, Nikki Bella came out with like a, not a flute, I freaking forget what it was. But pretty much she was singing quack quack whatever to Natalya, which distracted her, which allowed Brie Bella to roll up Natalya for the victory. There were, you know, thinking about it, there were a lot of roll-up victories on tonight's Raw. The match with Christian, Daniel Bryan versus Kane, and this match. Anyways, after that was R-Truth versus Curtis Axel. Before the matchup, Paul Heyman cut a promo on CM Punk. And the match was interrupted when CM Punk came out and attacked Curtis Axel. But Paul Heyman ran away, and then CM Punk celebrated on the announcer's table. Backstage, you had Vince McMahon and Triple H. And Vince McMahon pretty much, you know, talking about Daniel Bryan and how he would like somebody else to face John Cena at SummerSlam. Somebody like Triple H, but he says 20 or maybe 23 years younger. That's when Stephanie McMahon comes in. And she says, you know, how about we give Daniel Bryan a corporate makeup? And then Vince McMahon tells her good luck with that and leaves. And she asks Triple H what he thinks about it. Triple H says it's worth a shot. And then you have the main event, Ryback versus John Cena in a tables match. They used a lot of tables in this matchup. Of course, it is a tables match, so that is kind of expected. But they also use tables in some ways that most haven't used in the past. You actually had John Cena and Ryback try to hit them, well, actually throw the table at the other person. At some point, you had Ryback trying to shove the table onto John Cena, but John Cena ducked. So Ryback instead hit the steel post on the outside. So Ryback just decided to finish the table off and break it anyways on the steel post. And they also set up some tables out on the outside in between the apron and steel steps. They set up two tables like that. But at some point, Ryback and John Cena, they were both on like one end of that table. So keep in mind, you're trying to visualize this. There's a table on the apron and on the steel steps. So there's a steel step in between John Cena and Ryback. And on that steel step is a table. And that table, the other end of that table is on the apron. And John Cena's on one side, Ryback is on one side. And also on John Cena's side, like next to him or behind him, there's the other part of the steel step. So Ryback and John Cena don't know what to do. Ryback decides to grab a steel step and actually crush the table with that, so you know he doesn't get put through the table or whatever. And John Cena grabs the steel steps next to him, and then they throw the tables, not the freaking tables, I mean the steel steps at each other, and just the steel steps collide. And then John Cena goes back in the ring. They fight in the ring, and then Ryback, or I think John Cena, one of them sets up a table in the corner. And that's actually the table that ends up being broken when Ryback went for a clothesline on John Cena. John Cena was slowly getting up, and he was like laying on the table, or using the table to get up, kind of leaning on it a little bit. And at this point, I was kind of expecting what was going to happen next. Ryback goes for the clothesline. Keep in mind, he did a clothesline just before that, and he did connect. Now, going for the second time. And this time, John Cena's like right in front of the table. John Cena ducks, sets Ryback up for the attitude adjustment, hits it on the table in the corner, and wins the match. After the match, Daniel Bryan comes out, starts chanting yes, 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 grabs the championship, goes in the ring, pretends like he's about to give it to John Cena, but then he takes it away, and he says that championship is going to be his soon, and then John Cena snatches the title away from Daniel Bryan and tells him he's going to have to do, there's a long way until he earns this or whatever. And that was pretty much it. So what did I think about Raw tonight? Highlights of the show. I'd say Christian beating Del Rio in a non-title matchup. I'm a big fan of Christian, so whenever he gets these big victories, I'm always happy for that. And also, this isn't necessarily a highlight, but I am looking forward to seeing what this corporate makeup Stephanie McMahon was talking about for Daniel Bryan. Is it actually going to happen? If it is going to happen, is it going to be like the look he had when he was world champion? I don't know. I'm curious to see. And yeah, as far as a rating for tonight's show, I would give it a 7 on 10 maybe, or 7.5. I'd say maybe 7. I know tonight's show wasn't live, and for some reason, whenever it isn't live, and this especially goes for Raw, because I know Raw most of the time is live, but when it's not live, which is kind of unusual. I mean, they do tape it sometimes, but not that much. But like I said, when it's not live, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same to me. I always like it more when it's live. And yeah, I think 7 is a fair score for tonight's Raw. Anyways, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, if you did enjoy the video, you can click that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it. And in the comment section, tell me what you thought of Raw. And just like last week, give me your rating. What would you give Raw tonight? You can expect some online matches from me. I'm not going to say the date, because last time I did that, I didn't honor those dates. So, but you can expect some online matches from me soon, because I did record some new online matches 2 days ago or so, or I don't know. Yeah, 2 days or 1 day ago. I don't even freaking remember. But anyways, alright guys, see ya.